wanna know what you, yeah. I wanna know what you want. My niggas gon' blow at you, yeah. My niggas gon' blow at you down.
What is going on, B Plus gang? You already know what it is. It's your host with the most girth, length, size, and hang time.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And you just know I couldn't show up to the function empty-handed. So today, I brought out a banger of a video for you guys. Today's video subject is no stranger to the channel. If you've ever seen one of my videos before, some may call him a reoccurring antagonist on some villain of the week type shit. But some of you might just call him Big Ak. Now, I guess this video kind of counts as a sequel to one of my previous videos from a few months ago. So if you really want to be all the way caught up in whatever else, I suggest you watch that video first, and then come back to this one. Before we continue on here, I just want to say that that video is quite literally aged like the finest wine on all of the 7 C's. I wasn't able to fit all of the details I wanted in that video, and that has kind of like irked me these past couple months because I definitely feel like I had to like skip over some good information to make an overall more entertaining and cohesive video. That's kind of the fun part about Akademiks. He's like the gift that keeps on giving, man. Truly a generous man who's for the people. So the past couple of months, Ak has really turned himself into what I can only describe as a social media laughingstock. And the sad part about it is he really can't blame anybody but himself for what has happened to him. There's always been a group of people that like really don't appreciate Ak's contribution to the hip-hop media landscape, whether it be for the controversial like War in Chirac YouTube channel or for like just how he chooses to cover hip-hop artists and like his biases. But even I think that this is probably the most public scrutiny he has ever really faced, and it really just like takes a magnifying glass and presses it right up against his entire shit. The groundwork for Ak's cancellation, as we could call it, was set up by himself over the last 5 to 8 years, where especially after befriending Tekashi 6ix9ine, he would embrace this loudmouth, drunk, Big Ak persona and make countless enemies from behind the safety of his computer screen. One business model Ak has capitalized off of and made probably tons of buku bands off of was befriending and co-signing the most inflammatory and controversial figures like Andrew Tate, Sneako, Fresh and Fit, Wack 100, Charleston White, Donald Trump, etc., bro. The list just goes on. And political opinions aside, all of these figures, with especially the addition of like Tekashi 6ix9ine, are what I like to personally call outrage artists. These guys are bona fide hate mongers. Part of their whole shtick, right, is to get as much people as they can to hate them as possible, so they can leverage that divisiveness and like emotion to build a fan base of people that do agree with them. And don't get me wrong, right? I love some counterculture, good counterculture. I like approaching topics that might be out of the norm or the comfort zone of the regular person. Maybe I might have to reframe my train of thought up until that point and start thinking vertically instead of horizontally. But then you have niggas like Charleston White, where they approach a level of unco-signability that is just beyond when one of your fucking homeboys starts trying to randomly fight you in front of some females, bruh.
Death to all Crips and Bloods. Death to all GDs and BDs. May they all die like King Von. May they all die like Drakeo the Ruler. May they all die like Nipsey Hussle in vain.
So the result of Ak making friends with these kinds of people is that he has made an enemy already out of a lot of motherfuckers, and now he's just, you know, lumped himself in with them. It was on at this point. Akademiks had made a habit of being a prominent shit talker when it was time to talk about other people's going-ons. It was only a matter of time, seconds, minutes, before he has his own time in the sun. The popular men's self-improvement channel Fresh and Fit has become almost like the new Maury in a sense, where the show has this one set purpose, but in the end it just devolves into a bunch of bickering about some shit that has personally no effect on my everyday life. But at least on Maury, you know, there was some interesting, gripping family drama and dynamics. You got dudes finding out that none of the kids they've been taking care of are theirs. Crazy life-changing shit like that, you know. On Fresh and Fit, these niggas be talking about the same shit almost every episode. Just a straight yapathon of information you don't even really need to be better in your social life or dating. And then on top of that, right, they bring on girls a lot of the time who, in all honesty, I say this without a bone of misogyny in me, are just dumb bitches. Let's call it what it is. It's not a good representation. So somehow or some way, Ak got into contact with Fresh and Fit and turned into something of a frequent collaborator, often appearing on their platform and just like integrating right into their normal flow. It's funny to say, but when you're watching Fresh and Fit with the mindset that you're just willingly going down into a shit-infested fucking Minecraft biome, then in my opinion, it can actually be a very like entertaining watch. Ak would really cozy up to these guys, spew out a bunch of misogyny, and then attempt to return to his regular business. Like we didn't just see him talking crazy shit to a room full of drunken women 2 nights ago. And due to his past out-of-pocket statements about female artists like Tinashe and SZA and beefing with Nicki Minaj, a large portion of the women's hip-hop space already does not like Akademiks. And him allying with Fresh and Fit only served to make him a more attractive target or opposition. They already had a perception of him that he didn't like women, and him going on the misogyny show and talking shit to women for fun basically just made him more of their enemy. They incited this one girl so bad that it's alleged, you know, in a video game, that she pulled out the strap and started flinging threats, which, like, bro, I'm in shock that this didn't happen sooner, honestly. But you know, that's why you just don't go talking shit to just anybody who agrees to come onto your show. It's not a good, no, man. It continues to be a hotbed for controversy, especially since they have been on some weird like anti-Semitic and racist grift. So Ak realized at some point that at least publicly he would have to distance himself from appearing on their podcast, but that wasn't before he would get caught up in the controversy from Fresh and Fit one last time to bring the Fresh and Fit era to a close. And this would also be the first time a lot of us were properly introduced to Akademiks' new girlfriend, and probably the worst way possible. So while leaving the Fresh and Fit studio for one reason or another, Akademiks' girlfriend at the time, who has an apparent alcohol problem, just like her man, I guess, you know, but whatever. Ak's girl was beefing with some other girls outside the Fresh and Fit studio and was getting about ready to get sturdy and throw down. And as some sort of last-ditch effort or a Hail Mary per se, after losing his cool and having his bald spot exposed to the wind in the lobby, Akademiks tries to at least calm her down, or at least let her know that he is in fact the prize, and as the prize in the relationship, he will not be tolerating any of this scallywag behavior. Mind you, at this point, he's been doing them Fresh and Fit streams for a while, for a minute now. He's a natural, so if you think you would just let him cook, you know, just let him cook. But his girlfriend is a savage and uses his red pill villain monologue as the perfect opportunity to get a sneak on this girl, and that was just talking shit. What an absolute fucking savage. And because of that action, Akademiks ends up in the middle of a lady brawl, having to get physical with a bunch of girls at the same time. Even for the girlfriend, I know I just gave her some props, but like, you were outnumbered. You got jumped. And Akademiks, having made a lot of enemies at this point, became the brunt of the joke for a while, and due to his proximity to Fresh and Fit and the nature of him, getting into a physical altercation involving multiple women, some people came to the conclusion that Ak was a sort of abuser or a woman hitter. But optically, at the very least, he speaks the same way an abuser would speak. Like, he was friends with Andrew Tate, he was friends with Fresh and Fit. So we already established that women, namely black women, aren't the biggest fans of Akademiks, right? So the Shade Room isn't usually posting him in the best light, and they tend to scrutinize him whenever he does something that is out of pocket. So what if the Shade Room demographic had a sort of champion that could challenge Ak at his own shit-talking game? Nobody else at this point was able to penetrate the big Ak persona and access the vulnerable Akademiks underneath, the soft and gushy. That was until Ak's biggest op and worst fear emerged onto the scene: a gay man. So Akademiks would meet his arch nemesis in what you could only call an act of fate. A Jamaican and a gay man. Two natural occurring enemies in the wild, in the food chain of life. These two were destined to be enemies. And it was only a matter of time before words would be exchanged between these two. So this arc begins on any normal day like any other, with Ak talking ignorantly and freely out of pocket about his hip-hop opinions, when he would go on to talk about the topic with P. Diddy and his weird relationship with City Girls member Young Miami, calling her his side chick. It's very interesting, I will say as a side note, that when we trace this situation back, it somehow links back to Diddy, who we all kind of know at this point is most likely like a sexual degenerate predator, allegedly assaulted multiple women, and then he had a baby with another woman while he and Young Miami were reportedly still together. As I said, small footnote in this story, but it's probably true that she was his side chick. Like, we can be honest about that now. That is still a wild thing to say about someone, knowing that you're both public figures, and this is most likely going to get back to them though. There was some sort of very public back and forth between the three parties on Twitter. Since like 2022, Young Miami and Akademiks have not been on the biggest list of fans of one another, leading to a lot of shit slinging on both sides. Each side said their piece, and the beef died down for a bit until a few months ago, where Ak gave an opinion on the City Girls that I'm guessing a lot of their people did not take too kindly to, and Young Miami, whose real name is Carisha, would call Akademiks gay, which he said was ironic considering Carisha was good friends with an upcoming gay artist by the name of Saucy Santana. While Akademiks thought that he had like scored a point rhetorically, he had unknowingly poked the bear. I mean, to put it into perspective, this guy just awoken the semen demon, and he was not going to be prepared for it.
He's a dude with a BBL in the beard. Yes. This is crazy. Crazy. And heels. Right.
Saucy Santana had some choice words for Akademiks. I'm not even sure if I can repeat some of this stuff here on my platform without getting demonetized or canceled by my 50 subscriber audience, but I'll try my best. So Saucy was straight up determined to win this back and forth, and with Akademiks being the 10-year plus media figure, it gave Saucy plenty of ammunition to work with, and honestly, he knew exactly where to strike. He starts off his response by saying,
Akademiks, you keep talking about what the fuck Carisha said to you, but how she feel about you is how she feel about you. Me being her best friend, it don't have nothing to fucking do with me. In the hood and in a lot of urban cultures, when you see boys that are acting feminine, that are being messy, that are being extra and doing shit, that's what you address them as. Even as me being a gay man, I don't move like a and it's a lot of other gay boys that are feminine or whatever, but everybody don't move like you move like a
And from that point on, as I'm sure a lot of people would be if they were on the receiving end of that verbal abuse, Akademiks was wholly and entirely offended. And for him at least, this escalated past the level of his usual rapper beef, with him inviting Saucy Santana to his headquarters so he can put him in a self-defense situation. And gang, Saucy was not having any of it. And his response to Akademiks' invite must have gotten scrubbed off the internet or something, because gang, this video was so hard to find. And even then, I couldn't even find the full thing. But I think I'll just let the most shocking part speak for itself here. Because again, I don't even know if I could play this without getting demonetized, you know, out of the horse's mouth.
Show emergency. Bitch, no. We're not doing that. We want to see you out the door, outside in the motherfucking field, bitch. Fuck is you chatting about? Fuck is you talking about, bitch? Bati man, bitch ass nigga. Nobody not pulling up to no motherfucking headquarters? Think this bitch work for McDonald's or something. Stop motherfucking playing with me, bitch. We want to see you out the door. In the streets, in the field, in the streets, in the club. Yeah, somewhere let's get it on. Bitch, that's what the fuck we want to do. Bitch, and after I beat you, I'ma fuck you on your ass, cause you a bitch ass nigga. That's what we do to you. Now I don't wanna keep even pressing that we get on, we from. You always motherfucking pressing a BBL, fag. Bitch, you sit on your thick ass, bitch. I got a BBL, bitch, and you a BBW. That's what you do. You a big.
Yeah. Saucy really did that. And I mean, the man is openly gay, so this is the equivalent of him just standing on business, I guess. But for some reason, I just believe every word of what he says he's gonna do and how he's gonna do it. I wouldn't test the man personally. I know a lot of people will cry and say that this was an out-of-pocket thing for Saucy to say, which I would be inclined to agree with. But let's not act like this exchange between these two parties was like a classy, above-the-waist exchange. No, dude, it was nasty since the inception, man. Let's just keep it a bean. These words Saucy had for Ak definitely penetrated, no pun intended, and it touched him in a sensitive spot because he realizes in real time that optically you cannot beat a gay man in a battle of getting downright dirty with slurs and homophobia. And I think this realization that he's just gonna have to take this L to a gay man just mentally broke this man. Like, no joke.
Everything we've talked about, bro, I've never cared about. I don't care what rapper got at me, bro, ever. But like, really, there's certain shit I really don't fuck with in my life, and I would never do. But like, I gotta sit here and act like I know I'm in America. I gotta sit here and just act like I don't fuck with certain shit. I would never like it.
My nigga's so angry right now, he wanna cry. That's the type of anger you got right now.
Yo, just please. I'm telling you, I hate certain shit to the soul of me. I can't. I'm only pretending because if I say what I want to say, I would never be here for y'all.
I just think it's crazy. I just thought, damn, like, bro lost his dog. He lost his homies. Terminal. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's terminal, nigga. That's what I'm thinking.
It's kind of ironic, but also is like the last thing you would expect to happen from a internet beef of all places. It's kind of a funny reaction to like not being able to call somebody the F word. We all know Ak just wants to be as flagrant and as bigoted as possible, but he can't. So instead, he just has to hold that L from somebody you know he just looks down upon intrinsically. But then again, nobody put him here in this situation to be at odds with fucking Saucy Santana. If Ak doesn't promote anything about Saucy Santana, or he doesn't like Saucy Santana in that regard, he would have really like no reason to even mention him on his platform and give him clout. But then again, I think he thought Saucy Santana would be an easy target, but clearly he was not thinking through the situation because he did not foresee that he wouldn't be able to lean on the old reliable F word. So most recently, Ak has found himself in the news cycle again because he's going through a very public breakup with his aforementioned girlfriend, or I guess at this point in time, his ex-girlfriend. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that have just been watching this video with a straight face, just unsurprised by any of the actions taken here. But if you aren't familiar with the next story here, I hope to sort of change that a bit. Akademiks' love life has always been in a questionable state of affairs, with one of his only other public girlfriends turning around and trying to openly tarnish his name and gain clout off of it. But she also alleged that Ak was a cheater, abuser, a beater, all of the worst things you could possibly say about a partner and someone you had feelings for at one time. But that was a different girlfriend from this time. so let's see what this girl has to say. In an attempt to get in front of any expose or airing out of dirty laundry, Ak decided to go on his platform and detail some of the mishaps from his relationship. One of these things is a story of alleged abuse that didn't involve Ak or his girlfriend, but it did involve two men who were friends of Ak, as well as a third friend who was a woman that Ak invited over. Those three would apparently go on to have intercourse, and Ak was sleeping, but since there was alcoholic beverages being had, consent was of very questionable nature. Since it all happened on Ak's property, he was the one that ultimately had to answer for it. This is definitely the more like serious of the stories here, but according to him, the police investigation didn't turn out any evidence to definitively say exactly what happened, so I kind of just wanted to get this out of the way first. I don't want to be the one to say here whether I think Ak did it or not, or he had some deeper involvement, or like if this girl is lying or not, but I did think it would be at least worth mentioning here. The second big story to come out of this whole thing was about a time when Ak and his ex were arguing, and she would allegedly steal $500,000 and a bunch of old socks right from underneath his nose.
I could have had this woman in jail for 40 years. There was a time I used to have $1 million cash in my crib. Do you know this bitch stole $500,000 from me? I got 8 safes in my crib. She knew the combination of every one of them bitches, bro. She took my money in socks. Out the sock, 50,000. Out the sock, 50,000. Out the sock, 50,000.
The worst part about all this, who am I kidding? All of this is the bad parts. One of the bad parts of all of this is that after, he wouldn't press charges or break up with her. Like he just took her back into his house, into his arms, after she had blatantly abused his trust and downright stole from him. A lot of this information just makes him seem goofy, but I am more inclined to believe his side of the story because it makes him look bad. He has a lot more to lose here being a public figure and all. But I'm just saying, man, if that was me, dog, Shawty, you got me fucked up. Let someone steal $500 from me, knowing I might never talk to them again. But 500 grand, bitch, I'm turning into Batman because I promise you I'm getting my shit back in blood, motherfucker. But man, as someone who still enjoys some Akademiks content from time to time, and even considered myself a fan at one point, it's been crazy to see this guy who is a media mogul be reduced to a meme for multiple weeks on end. And it's not like the Adam 22 thing where he's doing it to himself. Like, no, this is involuntarily. I think this probably has to be the biggest spotlight he's ever had shined on his personal affairs, and you can just tell that he's trying to fight it head on, which isn't really that good of a thing to do. He's shown that this stuff is what actually bothers him, and he's taking the time to address a lot of the people who he has made enemies out of. They can talk freely because they can take a victory lap on him at this point. But you don't want to be the guy that's just like constantly trying to plead his case, because that makes people instantly want to tune you out, especially if they already collectively decided that they don't like you and like how you operate in the first place. It just makes you seem more guilty in their eyes the more you yap, which is like probably the critical question I would like to ask of Ak if I ever got the chance, because I'm sure he understands how internet narratives and the media work at this point. If you want to squash a topic, you wouldn't constantly go out of your way to bring attention to it. But then again, he could be trying to strong arm anybody else out of the narrative so he has free reign over it. What do I know? What do I know, really? Anyways, thank you if you've made it this far into the video. I knew this was probably going to be a long one just by judging from the nature of things I would be talking about here. But hey, since my last one on Akademiks was more of like a surface level observation, I wanted to take a deeper look at the individual stories regarding the drama. But that was the Akademiks Saga, or at least some of his biggest L's or controversies for the last year or so. But yeah, what do you guys make of this whole thing? Are you guys fans of Akademiks, or are you enjoying the descent into madness? And do you feel vindicated now that more people are seeing him for what he actually is? Whatever the case may be, let's get down into those comments. As you guys do know, I respond to each and every comment down there, but alas, if I don't see you in those comments, well, I'll just have to see you on the next one. Hey guys, thanks for getting to the end of this video. I just finished editing this one and I'm realizing that this is probably going to be my longest video. So, you know, I really do appreciate you if you have gotten to the end. This video has just been sitting here for like a month or two now, and I'm glad it's finally out. But there are some updates that I would like to make to this video, and I would probably be doing a large disservice without adding this update in. But a very good friend of Akademiks and artist Lil Boom has basically just ruined his career. He was ousted by some other YouTubers for being a predator of some sort, and there's like verifiable footage of him in Walmart walking up and inappropriately touching minors, young women, old women, and filming women from their backside without their consent. Just some real depraved behavior, and the main person to platform him was Akademiks. So before any of the footage from the events were released, Lil Boom had the chance to go on Akademiks' stream and clear his name and whatever the fuck. He just blatantly lied to the world, and I'm sure he regrets that. Now that all of the evidence has come out, he can no longer lie, and Akademiks has cut him off for good, presumably. I think Ak really saved himself from getting too deep into this one. He disavowed Boom almost immediately. You know, outside of giving him a platform, he didn't really have too much involvement in this. But I think that's a sign for Ak to finally start cleaning up his public image. Like, stop associating with these like misogynist dudes and people that like constantly are getting fucked in the media because of no fault besides their own, you know? Like, these dudes just fuck shit up for themselves, whether it be through trolling or whatever oh my, bro, I got like a frog in my throat. But yeah, like these trolling ass niggas, bro, were like people that just incite hatred, like Fresh and Fit or Andrew Tate. Like, he needs to stop associating with these people. All of them are going down and it doesn't benefit him. But, you know, thank you for getting to the end. If you're B+ gang squad, I will see you in the next one. But yeah, that's it.